Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Wave 5 is finally upon us, and I gotta be honest, this wave is okay. I didn't get excited for this when watching the trailers. The courses seemed fine, but I have been burnt out on Mario Kart 8 for a while now. Don't get me wrong, it's cool that we're getting these great courses and characters, but at the heart of it, Mario Kart 8 is still a 9-year-old game. Sure, now we have Deluxe that is on the Switch with more content, but it's still Mario Kart 8 back on the Wii U. With that said, it is new content, so let's go ahead and dive in to the first cup of the wave, the Feather Cup. Up first we have Athens Drift. Now Athens Drift, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this is probably one of my favorite courses in this wave. I didn't expect that at all because it's a tour track. Now there are some tour tracks that I do enjoy playing through. And there are some that I really enjoy, like the Singapore one, really incredible. And Athens, I would put at probably the same level as Singapore, honestly. While Athens is a city track technically, it doesn't feel like one. It feels like a brand new track that's not really inspired by anything in real life. A part of that might be because I've never been to Athens, and all this architecture and the scenery and stuff, it would all be new to me to begin with. But I don't know, it just feels really good to play this one. I like how you can drive through all this old ancient architecture. It's a blast to play through. Honestly, what a great track. I really like this one. Up next is Daisy Cruiser from Double Dash. Now, I'm not too familiar with Daisy Cruiser, to be honest with you. I might have played this track here and there. The track is familiar, but not too familiar. That said, I really enjoy this track. I think it's a great deal of fun playing through this. I like that there's different layers you can go on, of course, but I really just like the little details here and there. Like when you're going through the dining room and all the chairs and tables and the people just sitting having a nice meal are just sliding around the place. I love that kind of stuff. Daisy Cruiser is a pretty simple track on paper, but honestly, it's a pretty solid one. I now know why people like this track so much. Up next is Moonview Highway from Mario Kart Wii. This track in Mario Kart Wii was never really my favorite, and it's kind of the same in this one. I mean, they don't really do too much to make it different from the Wii, if I remember correctly, other than the fact that it seems brighter when you go into the city portion, and that might be because the Wii version looks kind of ugly. I just remember it not being this colorful in the city portion. But in this course, at least that is pretty bright and colorful. But the track itself is just kind of meh. Like, I personally like the other traffic courses that are already in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And this one just was never my favorite to begin with. But I mean, it's not bad either, it's just not my favorite. And finally, we have Squeaky Clean Sprint. And this is a brand new track, and it's delightful. I like it when Mario Kart gets a little weird and shrinks the carts down, and everything is just gigantic looking. They really play with this idea in this course. You've got the huge bathtub with all these huge toys. You got bath bombs, which is something I was not expecting. That seems a bit too modern. I don't know, it just kind of weirded me out, but I love it at the same time. I love that you go from the countertop, you go over the sink, and then you go into the bathtub, and then from the bathtub you go into the drain, and then you come out of there, and then you go around to the other side of the bathroom. It's just a fun course. I like the different layers in this track as well. I like that, you got the sponges that you can go on that I kept forgetting to go on when it came to the bathtub. Or the fact that you can go up the little water geyser in the toilet and then go up to a different layer from there. It's just stuff like that. It's a simple course. There's nothing too mind-blowing about it, but it's just the aesthetics. The music is really good too. And that's something I didn't mention about Athens too, but some of the courses that they have in this wave have some really good music. And I know that's kind of not really saying anything because this is Mario Kart and the music is always pretty good, but these courses are pretty stand out for me. At least some of these courses, like Athens, this one, and one that we'll talk about in the next cup. Yeah, this is a great track. I love the music, the aesthetics. I think this is a great course. Now we have the Cherry Cup, and up first we have Los Angeles Laps. This one is interesting. I feel like this is a pretty good depiction of Los Angeles, even though I've never been there.
That doesn't make sense.
And while I've never actually been to Los Angeles, I can see this being a pretty good depiction of it. I mean, you got the baseball field, you got burgers. I mean, it's pretty American, that's for sure. I don't know. I liked it when I played through it, but the more I think about it, the less memorable it got. Like, don't get me wrong, it looks pretty, you know, bright, colorful, has that beach vibe, but I don't know, it just didn't stick out with me, even though it is pretty distinct from the other city courses. I mean, you even have an oil rig section, which is a little interesting, but it's not the most appealing place to look at, but whatever, cool, I guess. But yeah, this one just doesn't stick out compared to the rest of the waves. Up next, we have Sunset Wilds from the GBA. Sunset Wilds is decent. I think it's a pretty good course. But again, we're comparing this to other tracks, and while I do understand that GBA tracks tend to get a little bit of the short end of the stick, I don't know. This one I find somewhat interesting, but compared to Squeaky Clean, it just kind of falls flat in some areas. Not that it isn't a fun course, I love the Shy Guys dancing around. They're actually a little hard for me to dodge for some reason. Dodge! But other than that, yeah, it's just kind of a simple track. I mean, can't really complain too much about it other than the fact that it's pretty simple. Up next is Koopa Cape from Mario Kart Wii. This is another one that I never really got behind. It never really stuck out to me on the Wii, and it doesn't really stick out to me now. I feel like I played this track before in a different Mario Kart game. I don't know. It doesn't stick out. I don't really feel much about this track, and I can't really say much about it. I just don't really have much to say other than that it's a pretty simple, fun, albeit, you know, not my cup of tea kind of course. Last, but definitely not least, is Vancouver Velocity. Now this one is pretty interesting. First off, the music. The music is pretty incredible in this one. I love that a lot of these tracks, especially in this wave, for oddly enough, use a lot of string in their arrangements, which I love. I'm loving this different sound that normally isn't associated with Mario Kart. I kind of dig it. I kind of dig it a lot. But the track itself is also pretty cool. You know, you got some good curves. The visuals themselves are pretty cool too. You got this snowy vibe. It reminds me of Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games. I believe it was the 2012 or 2011 when they're in Vancouver. But yeah, it just reminds me of that, and that might give it a point or two in my book, but definitely the music and the aesthetics in this one definitely bring it up a tier. Okay, so that's the 2 cups and all the courses that we have. But what about the characters? Because in this wave, we got 3 new characters. We have PD Piranha Plant, we have Wiggler, and we have Kamek. Which Kamek has never been in a Mario Kart game other than Mario Kart Tour. It's so weird to see Kamek in this game, finally, because he was actually supposed to be in Mario Kart 64 and then got switched out for Donkey Kong. I don't even remember the reason why, but I kind of wish he was in Mario Kart 64 because that would be pretty cool. But it's good to see him here. I'm so glad that they finally added Kamek into this roster. It's been long overdue, but he's here. And he's fun. He's a really fun magic person, you know? Like, he teleports when he does his little trick animation. He's a pretty fun looking character. PD Piranha, I've never been like a huge PD fan, but I appreciate PD more than I actually enjoy playing as him. But he's cool. I'm glad he's here, and he's well deserved to be in here. And then there's my boy Wiggler, which I'm so glad to see this weird guy in. Oddly enough, Wiggler is becoming one of my favorite characters to play as in Mario Kart. Like, even just after playing him in this new wave, I don't know, something clicked in me. I played Mario Kart 7, and I didn't really play Wiggler as much. But in this game, man, he's just so goofy and just so weird compared to the rest of the characters. He's tall and lanky. He takes up, like, the whole center of the screen, but I love him. It is weird, I will note, that whenever he gets hit and he gets mad, and, you know, he stays mad for a while, it's weird to me that he just instantly goes back to normal. Like, there's no, like, slow fade or, you know, even like a fade at all to get him back to his normal self. It's just like a bing, Like, it's just so quick. I don't like it. I don't like how quick it is, which is such a nitpicky thing, but I don't care. It's change it, Nintendo. But that'll do it for Wave 5. Was it a great wave? It was good. Decent, I would say. Just nothing mind-blowing like Yoshi's Island. Oh my gosh, I still can't believe that's an actual track. The music, everything in that track just is amazing. Nothing came close to that in this, but I will say Athens was definitely a highlight that I did not expect. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of Wave 5 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I'll see you guys next time. God bless.